Okay, I have a 2008 John Deere x500 here that I am checking the level on the deck. I've noticed it's slightly off and figured I'd go through the process because many of the videos you'll find are for newer models than this that have some little access holes here that you can just go up and down with an Allen wrench. And these are not quite that simple, but it's still not a terrible process. So first thing you want to do is you want to set this to proper deck leveling position. So this machine's an x500, so I'm going to use this position. If you had an x300, you'd want to do 2.75. Then you lower the deck and you make sure none of the anti-scalp wheels are touching the ground. And we are good there on all four corners. Next, you want to take this deck leveling gauge out of its holder, and there are two positions in the back that you use to check the deck level. You've got this position right here. It should just barely slide under there. Now this side's actually not too bad. It could maybe go a hair lower. Should have a little bit more resistance on it. Okay, now on the left side, I've got the same little point there. Notice on this side, it is tighter. This side's actually about how it should be. These are the adjustment points on the front to adjust the front back level of this deck. Got one here, one here. The correct orientation of these, you want the rod on the bottom when you mount the deck. If you have this flipped over, it's bad. It's always going to be wrong. I actually wrote up on these because I can never remember when I remove the deck in the spring to clean it out and whatnot, which way they go. Here's how I like to start. John Deere says to do this last, but I don't have much luck with that because I want to make sure that these two are threaded the same amount. Because if you get them off, you're going to end up with your left to right level being off. So what happens to me sometimes is if I go and adjust the back and get that correct, I'll come up here and I'll find that the amount of threads showing on each of these is off. And I'll balance it out, and then that throws my left to right off, and then I'm just going back and forth endlessly. So the first thing I like to do is to try to get the front adjusted correctly. So I loosen these nuts on the back there and there quite a bit so that I can get the same amount of thread showing on either of these. And at the same time, I take the deck level gauge and I go here and I make sure this will just fit under where it shows that 3. So we are going to count the threads. So we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 showing on that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got like 12 showing on this side. So I'm going to loosen this up so that they're equal. I'm satisfied with that. So you'll notice that when you do that, you can see that doesn't sit flush. So you're going to have to tighten up this nut on the back side to kind of get it to pop up. We've closed that gap. We'll just snug these up. Let's see where we're at. They're deck level. And we are a little too low in the front. That should fit under there. So what we want to do is we want to loosen these up. I like to loosen them so that they're something that I can just move with my finger. Okay, they're both snug with my finger. I'm going to go like a half a turn with each of them. Figure out. Okay, I went a half a turn with each of them. You really don't want to do much because you can easily throw this off. See, now I'm a little bit high, but Raise it, lower it, and just see where we fall. Still a hair high. So we're gonna move back to the back. We're gonna work on these. Tiny bit of room there. And that one doesn't fit under. So we've got to raise this back corner, which we will do with an 11/16 ratchet wrench. Okay. Okay. I'll turn this a few turns. And we're going to see where we're at. Just barely slides under. That's exactly what we want. Let's look on the back again. Oh, we might be in good shape. Raise it, lower it. Just barely slides under. And just barely slides under. That is like as perfect can be there. I'm pleased with that. And then we're gonna look at the front, which has more gap than I'd like. Let's try to fix the front a little bit. You can see how this is going a lot of back and forth. That is exactly where we want to be. Just barely catching on that. Now we're going to check the back again because that maybe should go up a tiny bit. It almost doesn't make it under. That one does easily, so this should be a minor adjustment. I'm just going to go to this side and raise it a little. That passes perfectly. And now we'll go check the other side. That feels the same to me. Okay, I'm gonna go across the yard and see how this looks. I cut it to a quarter. Just find that's the best balance between scalping it off and getting it nice and low. So let's see how this goes.